And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avantes, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
What is up, gang?
And Matt at Arms.
Hey, I'm back. I missed last week. Sorry about that, guys.
And our special guest this week, all the way from the future, because he's like 6 hours ahead of us, we have the VengaDragon.
Venga! What's up, everybody? We chilling. We're up in here. Look at this.
That's
Zeroshio.
right.
It took me 2 weeks to learn how to pronounce his name. Now that I'm still having a little thing, and now I got Avantes up here. So I'm learning. This is great.
Yeah.
I was like, great.
It takes people a long time to figure out it's Zeroshio and not Zerotio.
Okay. So I want to explain that Zeroshio. A lot of people ask me about my name, and there it goes. A lot of people have asked me about my name, and a couple of people pegged on it. Zeroshio is a anagram or a playoff of Zerotio, so both is technically correct. The pronunciation is Zeroshio. It roughly translates to no uncle or Uncle Zero, and so my nephew calls me Uncle Zero, and Zerotio it's from a role playing character I made a while ago that it's part of the backstory. So both is technically correct.
That holds a very, very strong place in my heart now, man. Uncle.
I knew it would.
But the thing is they over here, just so everybody knows, I'm former New Yorker, but now I'm over and chilling in Spain in Europe, right? And so you'll be walking down the street and they're like, "Yo, que pasa, tío?" So they call everybody tío, uncle.
Yeah.
Nice. So joining us all the way, as he said, from Spain. So we are so glad you were able to join us tonight. We've, I know, as Zeroshio said, we've been excited about the possibility of being able to get you on the show.
Wow, I gotta say, man, first and foremost, I mean, there's a bit of humility here. You know, it's a great thing to be on the show with you guys. I saw all the Twitter love and stuff like that, and it's just really cool to see that people are embracing the concept of Venga, right? The VengaDragon. So, but that's really cool. I mean, it means a lot to me. I think one of the things that in the stream when I do it and playing and stuff, I just want everybody to have a good time. I really, really do enjoy interacting with you folks and just making it happen and just having a good time. So it's seriously a bunch of people blowing up. My friend this and that, and said all these people that I just met recently and telling me that they're my friend and they're excited for me to be on the show. It feels really good, man. Really good.
Yeah. So let's go ahead, Zeroshio.
I was to say on that topic, we'll go ahead and get right into our interview because we don't really have any email or iTunes reviews to go over. But just getting into it, you do stream under VengaDragon on Twitch. You just got affiliate, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah, and the stream started really. I was playing around, being an unknown on. It's still an unknown, obviously, but up and coming guy now. And I was doing a lot of streaming on Facebook, and doing that was just playing around because I get in front of the camera and just getting used to playing and talking how it plays. I figured no one would be watching or whatever. So I picked up a couple of followers there, and then I said, you know what, this is ridiculous. Facebook is stupid. It's just it's not geared towards the gamer. And so I decided to go over to Twitch. That was in mid-January. And then I took a break, and I didn't really promote the stream because I was I didn't want to get a bunch of people in and then suddenly just disappear. I had to go to a poker tournament in London. I had won a seat to a tournament. So I flew over to London and took 2 weeks off, played some poker, hanging out in London, chilling out, drinking brews, everything, having a good time. And then came back and so started the stream pretty much, I would say, mid-February is when VengaDragon kind of took off and started going. And then within 30 days, we reached the affiliate thing, which was, it was a milestone. It's not a big one, whatever, but it's still a milestone, So it felt good.
Yeah, see, that's how I actually started following you when you were doing the Facebook thing, but Facebook was really awkward for me because I can't really watch it real well from work because I do watch a lot of my stream at work, and Facebook just isn't. It's not geared properly for me to window out and do work while I listen to it. And then I noticed you kind of didn't do the Facebook for a little while. And then one of these days I was just like, I wonder if he's ever going to do any Twitch. And about that time in the Happy Hearthstone Facebook, you mentioned, hey, I'm over at Twitch. I jumped right on it, started hanging out. You remember, you're a little late for me because it's about time I'm winding down for bed. But I pop in, say hi to you. I think I was one of your first. I was actually your second sub. So I've been following you for a while, and then we got to talking and saying you get you on the show because I heard you on Happy Hearthstone, and that was a great episode.
It was fun. We were talking about earlier. Is Andrew just knows how to make you feel comfortable, and he could talk a mile a minute, and then so it's like he and I go way back, and so I kind of like try to compete with him and try to out-talk him, and then so it makes for an interesting conversation. But if you guys mind if I give a little shout out to some of the people that they're out there?
Please.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, it was because what Zeroshio said about he's like an early supporter. I just figured I'd give a shout out to Daniel Draco, Guy Grumpy. Mm-hmm. I got Joko426, Law Boyd, Andrew is living, Prince Liam, Spartacus Fett, Tripsig, and Johnny Stockdale. And on that list as well as is Zeroshio. Big shout out to you, brother, for believing in VengaDragon. And then letting me invite myself onto the show. When you told me that you had to cancel Brian Kibler, it put me in.
Well, ever since I gave Kibler that game loss at PAX West, he just keeps canceling on us. I don't know what to do.
No, Zeroshio told me you canceled him.
Well,
yeah, sure. Communication.
So you're obviously in Spain, and that's kind of a hit. Kind of hits my heart a little bit because I have family that I have a Spanish side of my family. My God family's all Spanish. So that kind of Spanish theme, that Spanish flair, was really kind of drew me into your stream. Tell us a little bit. I know there's a little bit of a Spanish influence in your Twitter handle and your gaming tag. So tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Well, obviously we do the war cry, right? Venga, right? So, and pretty much Venga is like in Spanish means come on, right? But it's not come on in the sense of like how like whiny Americans or whiny Brits would say it or something like come on. No, it's not like that at all. It's like Venga. It's like come up here. Let's do this. Come. We're
kind of like how Americans go. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Spanish it would be it's "ay vámonos," which is "let's go," right? So that's kind of hard for them to say that like totally, So Venga is like the come on thing, and so a lot of times when the footballers, the soccer players are playing, they'll be passing the ball, and you hear like Venga, 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 and just it's a really really happy word. It's like positive, So it's funny. Like I don't speak Spanish well, but I do understand Spanish a lot, and I'll just be walking down the street and I'll hear Venga, and stuff like that. And they're just talking amongst each other or saying a salutation goodbye and stuff. But it's always like, yeah, they notice me, In my own little tiny mind up in here, I was able to invent that. So it's like I think I'm popular and famous now.
Yeah. So Zeroshio and I were talking, when we were talking about bringing you on, and we had talked about, and you just mentioned how you were in London recently for poker because you do play professional poker. How did you get into Hearthstone?
That's the whole thing. Is it's interesting that what happened is the story of how I got over here also to Europe is even more crazy. Just basically online poker went illegal in the United States, lost every single penny I had, was in England because my wife is British. We were hanging out. We're just like, let's stay. we have no money left. Let's stay. We can't. We have nothing to go back to, right? So we stayed over here. So they were doing some stuff, and I also do marketing as well for a living. It's a combination of poker and marketing and social media and things like that. So I do consultation in social media, and happens to be a lot of them because I was in the poker business and playing poker. I got noticed as somebody that could assist in social media and marketing, right? So what happened is there was a company that I was working with that wanted to get into Hearthstone because a lot of poker players were playing Hearthstone, and there's a synergy between how Hearthstone works. It's in a heads-up match. There's a lot of similarities between the two. So they wanted to incorporate Hearthstone into their mix and get some Hearthstone players playing poker and some poker players playing Hearthstone, etc. Long story short, it didn't pan out, but I decided, let me go and log on and see what this Hearthstone thing is about. Because I always like to do the research and kind of immerse myself into what it is. So I didn't really like Hearthstone at the beginning. I was like, because I was playing and I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's kind of goofy, like when you first get in with, at the time, I think it was League of Explorers, which is excellent, by the way, but it was there. I opened the software and it was like Kazakhstan was there, and it was just like really goofy. I'm like, this is ridiculous. What does this have to do with it? So like 12 hours later, after opening the software, I'm like still playing, and now I'm like, like doing stuff. So I'm like, this game is really great, right? So I got into it because of that, and then took a real big long hiatus because the client didn't really incorporate Hearthstone into their mix, so I didn't really have any reason to play it. So I picked it up again last August, and that originally was in 2017, and then basically in August of last year is when I sunk my teeth into the game and said, let me try this, because it kind of leads into why I began streaming, is also because there was this need for people to want to be coached in streaming and how to get in front of the camera. And sometimes poker sites and stuff, they'll want to do, like, have ambassadors that will get in front of the camera. A lot of them, they just like look down and they don't know what they're doing, and it's kind of sloppy. So I wanted to advise and consult on how people do it. So I said, let me stream, and so I can learn that as well. But then what it turned into is more, I want to stream because I want to also meet people. So I had the pleasure of getting acquainted with Zoroshio, and it's guys like you, Zoroshio, that I'm happy to have met, because I'm not really a gamer. I haven't picked up a game in 30 years, man. The only game I played was poker. That was it. Online poker, live at Foxwoods Casino, live on PokerStars and all the different sites and stuff. But I never picked up games. I didn't play them when I was younger, and I'm talking mad old, like long time ago. I'm well older than you guys too. So, and most of the people that are watching are probably 2.5 times their age. But hey, it's the cigars and the beers that
right.
keep the longevity going, man. You know what I mean? So just stock up, get your beers together, get your cigars, and that's the key to feeling young and being a gamer again, for me.
That's cool. So you kind of incorporated Hearthstone into your social media networking and into the kind of the marketing research. But in doing that, you kind of fell in love with the game. I know I watch you stream quite a bit, and you really get into some of the animations on the board and how, some of the voiceovers and just how the cards react. So that's one thing that really appeals to me, is because you have almost this childlike excitement about the game. It was almost like me picking up my first video game, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's like it. Kind of that it is in a nutshell. First of all, I think that Hearthstone is a beautiful game. I think that the graphics are incredible, and I love the collecting factor of Hearthstone and the way that you can just look at all the little cards, and it's like it is childlike in a certain way, and it because like kids love colors and it's so vivid and it's imaginative. Like Ysera, for example, the Golden card is just beautiful. The artwork is beautiful. The animations. The battle cries in Hearthstone, all the fun that just is there. And I think sometimes that that's what is missing from just like when you see certain streams or even competitiveness and stuff like that. They focus so much in on the strategy, even though strategy is really important in Hearthstone. But there's just a lot of fun. The battle cries are so cool. I mean, just things. You just the game does have for me. It's like that childlike excitement. So yeah, I just love it.
So I do have to ask, since you got in August of last year, that was Knights of the Frozen Throne when it just came out around then. So what's your favorite deck you have ever played?
So, August of last year, that would have been Boomsday.
That's last year's. What was it last
We're
year?
in 2019.
So last August would have been Boomsday.
Oh, right.
Which wood though? Which wood?
Yeah. Just before Boomsday came out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got So your experience is a lot more recent then.
Yeah.
So I still have to ask, what is your favorite deck you've played thus far?
I used to play Spiteful Druid back then, and like the thing is because you're building a collection, you have to kind of play the cards that you're given, right? You have to you don't start with all of the great decks and everything, and also one of the things that I do in Hearthstone is I do net deck. I mean, everybody does and stuff like that. But I try to learn the game on my own and assemble decks. And a lot of that time at the beginning, I was doing that. I was just putting together like my own decks and stuff, and I wasn't really paying attention to net decking because I didn't know about it. So my favorite deck that the first time that I ever got to rank 5 was Spiteful Druid. After that, I didn't really go back. I've always been since then just like playing at rank 5. I'm stuck at rank 3 is the highest I've ever been because I just can't, for some reason. I don't know. And that's part of. I wanted to say this too to a lot of the players that are out there who are starting Hearthstone, right? And I think that's where my stream kind of comes in, and my enthusiasm for the game comes for like the beginning players and stuff like that. Trust me when I tell you this. When you are a beginning player, right, that is the most fun you're going to have in Hearthstone. So enjoy it. Don't screw it up. Thank God.
This is why I have 3. This is also why I have 3 Smurfs accounts.
Right. No, but you know what I'm saying? But it is. It's the funnest part of the game is getting the knowledge and doing the research and then realizing, it's like everybody. That's the thing. Everybody on the internet, right? I'm not complaining about people. I'm grateful to everybody who comes into the stream, right? So you have someone come in the stream. Tell me, when's the right time to trade? When's the right time to trade? Do you have a couple hours to talk about it? Why don't you just have fun, figure it out? There's no quick answer. You have the quick information. How do I win? How do I win? Well, how do you win? Listen, part of the fun is learning how to win. Because once you know what you're doing, and this is one of the similarities between Hearthstone and poker, right? As soon as you know what you're doing, everything starts to go downhill. It's no longer fun anymore. How did you call me with that? How did you do that? Oh, this is what the game gets hard, and then all of a sudden it's like less fun. So my advice is always keep it simple. The road to least stress at getting to where you're trying to go is the best.
That makes
time as a newbie.
That makes a lot of sense because when you first start playing and you play that Akanai Soul Priest and then you circle a healing and it kills your own minions and you're like, because you're like, oh, that's how that works. Now you do it and you're like, oh, what a misplay. Oh, I screwed that up. So I do like that youthful feeling when I watch your stream because even when you do make quote unquote misplays, and speaking of, you're competing on you just came back in August and you're up in rank 5, rank 4ish. Every time I've seen you, you may have gotten higher. I'm not sure. So your level of play is good. It's very high because that's where I play usually. So so you're making those mistakes and you're like, oh, that's how that works. Or you're saying, well, I remember that from last time, but you still have that youthful feel like, well, brush that off my shoulder and just go on to the next play. And that to me, that's a huge lesson anybody can learn is just to let the little mistakes roll off the end result is still, if you could turn it around and win that match, then that shows your level of play. So that's one thing I love about your stream.
Thank you. And here, just more about that too. Like one of the things is like, again, similarity to poker, right? It's real money. Firstly, it's like I had somebody come in and say, "Oh, listen, I'm not going to." I said, "They go, I want to win. How do you get these cards?" I said, take a couple of bucks and buy a few packs. I'm not going to invest any money in a free game. I said, how many hours a day do you play? 2 hours a day. What's the minimum wage in the United States? $9, $10? So you're spending 18 hours a day that you could be, $18 or something, $10, $20 a day, not working. So it's not free anymore, right? So where we're going with it is like, you have to not just push all your money into the pot, not push everything in and just be like, throw your time away. Laugh it off, man. If you make a mistake, so be it. And the truth is when I can't keep myself happy, I'll be honest about it too. You'll see me on stream or whatever. I'm just like, all right, I'm playing badly. This is terrible. And I just let me go take a break. So you just have to enjoy it. It's a game, everybody. It's fun. It's meant to be fun. Now let's go on to Hard Pawn and start being salty and insulting people. Can we do that instead of being happy? Come on.
Just don't go on Reddit. Just don't go on Reddit.
The thing is, I'm not a gamer. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I do have a fun time, like socially, like and interacting, but put me in a forum and I suck, man. I'm just like I'll read like someone's like 20 line rant, or that takes me like 10 minutes to read, and I'll just get to the bottom and go, great post. Thumbs up, brother. And that's all I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Let me tell you what I really think. I don't know.
Yeah. So, we're talking about, how you play on stream and how you enjoy the game. Have you given any thought now that, and this is something, because a lot of the people that we talk to in the past have been playing since the beginning, and they're really in it for the eSports. Have you given any thoughts to maybe competing on a higher level in some of these like online qualifiers and trying to get into that eSports stage?
Yeah, I have. And the thing is it has to be on my terms. And when I say that, I never was good in school. I never liked teachers. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't take criticism well. I don't all this stuff, right? I'm only kidding. I think I'm learning to take criticism better. But I don't like. It goes back to like the enjoyment of the game, right? Part of the enjoyment of the game is to make sure that you like, for me is learning how to play. I want to teach myself how to play, so I do my research. I play. Because I've been able to peel back on some of the poker that I've been doing. I've been playing like anywhere between 4 to 16 hours a day, Hearthstone. And
that's healthy.
That's a lot. Like I have almost 10,000 wins on Hearthstone.
Good Lord.
Right.
Wow. I just passed that.
10,000 wins in, what is that, 7 months?
Like about 8 months. Yeah.
8 months. Yeah.
Good Lord.
So and they come with just going back and forth. So I'm studying as much as I'm learning. So I want to I have some goals. One of the goals is to become more involved in esports in Hearthstone, because as a competitor in poker, I took it to a professional level. I mean, I played live for 6 years at casino, never borrowed any money, never lent to anybody either. That's just as bad. And walked right past the slot machines and made a living playing poker. I made a cool living, traveled all over the place to do it. And a couple of years ago, I made a nice hit on something. So I have some money set back aside so I can chill and focus more on the things that make me happy. And one of those things is getting better at Hearthstone. So I do have aspirations to become more of a pro player. But again, it has to be on my own terms, and I have to make sure while I'm teaching myself that you don't pick up bad habits. You have to. That's the key. If you really want to learn how to play something, or play a game, a card game like poker or Hearthstone, you have to understand what you like before you learn anything else. Learn what a bad habit is, and then make sure you don't take on the bad habits. And then learn how, then learn everything else. Then learn trading, then learn board position, then learn ordering, then learn all these different nuances of the game. But first, you have to make sure that you learn how to break bad habits and not make bad habits. That's the key. So, but yeah, I'm trying to I know it's stupid. You got I got 50 followers or something on Twitch, but I would really love to do streaming full time. And make it a living, and that's one of my immediate goals, is to really make it a living. Because I'll tell you, playing poker, when I did it for 4 to 16 hours a day, sometimes you just want to bash your head against the wall, and so I'd rather bash my head against the wall streaming Hearthstone than I would playing poker and losing $500 in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Or going a week and a half without making a penny, you know what I'm saying? And just it's a grind, man, and that's what people always say to me. Well, if you were making so much money playing poker, why'd you stop? Because I'm fucking, I'm tired. It's tiring.
Well, that's a good mindset to have, and you're on the right track because you just got your affiliate. You're right before a new set, which we'll be talking about in the news section a bit. So, pack openings and trying out new decks with new cards and new solo content, that's what people want to see on stream. So you got right in at the right time for the streaming game. Plus, for the competitive side of it, these Masters qualifiers are the best system for your up and coming. You don't have to get a top 100 legend or get all these points to compete on a high level. You just have to enter one of these online tournaments, which take roughly about 8. I'll give you my experience. I just played in my first Masters qualifier. The 8 rounds of Swiss took about 8 hours. So if you end up qualifying for the top 8, you're probably looking at a good 12 hours. But just for the 8 rounds of Swiss, you're looking at about 8 hours of play. And you don't have to be a legend player, or you just have to make your specialist decks compete. I like the specialist format because it's a lot less confusing for me as a player than having to pick 3 different classes. I just pick my one class, one deck I'm good at, make 3 variations of it that are within 5 cards of each other, and play the best Hearthstone I can play. I actually went 4-4, placed 54th for my first time, so I wanted to play all 8 rounds out just to get my experience. I won 2 packs, so I did get some prize out of it. You get prizes all the way to 128th. So if that's something you're really interested in getting into, I definitely would try out the Masters qualifier. And of course, the new set's coming out, so streaming is going to be perfect for you.
That's great. Hold on a second. What was the name of the new expansion?
We don't know yet.
What's it called? No, the one that's, isn't it? What's the new year?
The new year is the Year of the Dragon.
What was it again?
The Year of the VengaDragon.
In fact, the title of tonight's episode of Hero Power is The Year of the VengaDragon. So I'm just saying.
This is your year.
That's what I'm talking about. It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? And the funny thing is when I created the name VengaDragon, I created it because of the card Azure Drake. You remember Azure Drake?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Azure Drake was in the deck, so I created, and I went back in and I had a different screen name, and I paid to change my name to VengaDragon. So every expansion that's been coming out, you got the Witchwood, then you have Boomsday, which Boomsday made me almost quit Hearthstone because I'm like, this is junk. I can't stand it no more. And then the deck I'm going to play tonight is all Boomsday anyway. But And so I'm like ready to quit. Where's my dragons at? Where's my dragons? All that. Right? Every expansion, no dragons. And all of a sudden, yes, I wake up. My phone is blinging all the tweets and stuff like that. All the people I follow, I see, you're the dragon. And I'm like cheering. I'm running around. Yes, finally. There are going to be some dragons in the expansion. It's like, not only is it we're going to get some new dragons, but we got a whole year of the dragons.
That's right.
All right, so let's actually talk a little bit more about that. Did you, Zerosha, since you already talked about your qualifiers experience, is there anything else you want to add to that before we move on?
No, just that I really like the Master System. I do want to give a quick shout out. One of my teammates and community members, Run He Said's competing right now. Good luck. Hopefully she does really well. She's 6-1 going into the 8th round of Swiss. So 7-1 will likely get her in the top 8. But I'm going to be competing in more of these now that I got my feet wet and tried it out. And I'll definitely be reporting on my my experiences in the next weeks to come.
Okay, awesome. So talking more about the new set that's getting ready to drop. We got some more teasers this week. The fortune teller was back in a couple of other brief video clips. We talked a little bit about this last week with some theory crafting, but since then we've seen video clips for the King, Togwaggle, the Witch, Hagatha, the Crazy Dr. Boom, and then today we got to see who, Man-at-Arms?
We got to see Rafam, the Supreme Archaeologist. And yes, my phone autocorrects to that.
Yes, which is fantastic, by the way. So this kind of leads us into more of the villains that we were talking about that we thought we may be seeing. So, Zeroshio, what are your thoughts based off of these teasers?
So first off, I kind of pegged this when in our community. If you're in our Discord, if you want to be part of our Discord, you can go over to patreon.com/heropower, and all of our Patreon patrons get access to our Discord. I mentioned that she was, revealing these cards, and she's the first one to answer the call, and she's calling the first person and the second person, and then she said the last one and hinted Dr. Boom, but there was one last card left. I'm like, if that's the last one, the 5th card must be who is actually, in charge, telling her to do all this. And then speculations on Rafam, which makes sense because this awesome. This would be a villain from every year up to the current year. And so that would make a lot of sense. And Rafam kind of interrupts her in the video and flips his own card over and said he's the one that's got everybody together. And there's a lot of speculation on possibly Dalaran with the Dalaran sewers. We've seen some possible evidence saying it could be Suramar, and Rafam is actually wanting to, for you WoW players like I was, to invade Suramar, sneak in. Which if you've ever played in Suramar, it's very guarded. So the only way they'd probably be able to get in is through a sewer system, which would make sense to get their crown, which is their precious treasure there. But I am leaning towards Dalaran still. I was originally thinking Violet Hold, so I don't think it's going to be so much Violet Hold. But Dalaran has a lot of artifacts and treasures in it, and has a lot of stuff there that Rafam would want. And I think Man-at-Arms may have found some information that might lead us in a certain direction. What'd you find?
I like your segue. I think I will take it.
Nice.
Basically, yeah, there's a couple things that have popped up kind of recently. One was the way and somebody I found on Reddit, there was somebody who compared the card backs in the single player adventure they showed to some of the architecture and way that Suramar looks. However, we got another leak from a German site, which I'm not sure how good this is because the photo doesn't look that great, that Rafam shows a picture of Dalaran on a card. So it could be either one of those. I really think we'll get the announcement tomorrow. And either way, it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those two. I'm leaning towards the Suramar, but, you know, just the fact that we get to have Rafam as the villain again. I'm sorry, but he was my favorite. Like, League of Explorers is a great set, and everybody talks about Sir Finley, Reno, Bran, and Elise, but the guy who stole the show at the end of the entire thing was Rafam.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah. So that's where mine's at. I think we're definitely gonna get something probably around 1:00 tomorrow, Eastern time, and I hope it's some sort of Suramar heist expansion, which would be a lot of fun.
All right, Venga, you got any thoughts about what we could be seeing or what could be coming?
The short answer is no.
All right. So let's theory craft for a moment. Let's say that Matt is correct, and tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, we do see an announcement of the new set. That puts us on a timeline because usually starting the next week, they'll start with card reveals. So that means we could start seeing card reveals as early as Monday the 18th. And then normally they will do about 3 weeks worth of those card reveals. So if that is true, we could see this set drop as early as, I would think, April the 4th, but more likely somewhere around the 9th or the 11th. Do you guys feel like that timeline flows pretty well?
I don't know. I'm looking at the timeline here, and when we have World Champs, when's World Champs?
The
End of April.
27th through the 29th, I think.
And if you actually look on some of the Play Hearthstone site, they are talking about a new format, so they have confirmed it will be in the Year of the Dragon.
You're talking about for the World Championship?
Yes.
For the World Championships will be in the Year of the Dragon, probably
it's still
the
gonna,
first.
It's still going to be
Conquest.
It'll still be played in
Conquest,
Conquest,
but it'll be in the Year of the Dragon.
Well, I think if you're saying the 9th or the 11th, I don't agree with that because they're going to want these players to have enough time with these cards. I really think it's going to release on April the 2nd.
Yeah.
Which will lead right into the tournaments, the 27th through the 29th, or 26th through 28th. And then the solo content will come out on the 30th.
Yeah.
Like that immediate Tuesday.
What gives me kind of thought that it is going to be that first week in April. They talked about a sunset for the Year of the Mammoth and the Year of the Dragon blog post, where it's going to end up. I think it's going to end like on the 1st or 2nd, and so they do the sunset, and then they flip the switch, and all of a sudden it's Year of the Dragon, since Mammoth is going away. Thank God. So I think that kind of lends credence to that first week, and I think in the announcement tomorrow they're going to talk about, or probably shortly after, probably in the next week, like when their pre-release is going to be, which is going to, the pre-release weekend is going to be the week of the expansion release.
Yeah, and I suspect the pre-release event's going to be that 29th through 31st of March. Which lands right on one of the events me and Avantes is working, so that'll be a little awkward trying to facilitate a pre-release, which means we probably won't be able to do one. But
probably won't happen this expansion
if it's that weekend. But
I was going to just jump in and say if you look at the trends on what Blizzard's been doing, they love Thursdays, by the way.
Yep.
Always releasing stuff on Thursdays, right? And I've been thinking, so I do have some thoughts on the next expansion. I think that it's going to start on the 11th, which would be the second Thursday of April.
Yeah, I think there's the second thought on that is like the spoiler season will be really quick if it's in the first week of April.
That is true.
I'm like incredibly quick, and I don't know
that would mean they would literally have to start releasing cards the end of this week and start the actual release season Monday.
Which also maybe they already preceded the release spoiler season with the summit that was up there the week before they announced the Year of the Dragon.
That's true.
Yeah, I know Avantes agrees with me because he was hovering over the 11th when he was looking at the calendar. I saw him.
Yep.
He was hovering over it, and I said, he thinks it's 11th as well.
And there's been a lot of people, saying, of course, you said that historically they release on Thursdays. That is partially accurate. Lately, it has been Thursdays. Previously, it's been Tuesdays. So they've transitioned from Tuesdays to Thursdays, and so I don't know. I would probably align with you as saying a Thursday is a safe bet. If they are going to do it a Thursday, where my guess was a second, I would move it over to the 4th. But the 11th is still a safe bet. Personally, I would rather them release it on the 11th because that would put the pre-release parties that first weekend in April, which would be the 6th and 7th, which would allow us to run a fireside. So I would prefer it on the 11th. I just really think it's either going to be the 2nd or the 4th. I hope it's not.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to jam in that. I mean, I'm sure they planned, but it's still.
It is a lot of work, but they did recently lay off about 8% of their company and boosted up their developmental departments by 20%. So they probably have the manpower to do it now.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. You guys remember about a month ago we talked about Blizzard dropping the new Mark of Hakkar card back. It was an experiment to see how it would spread, basically, because the card back spread like an infection. If you play somebody who has the card back, it automatically gets added to your account, and all of your default card backs are set to the Mark of Hakkar. So then the next person you play would get it, and so forth and so on. So this card back really took hold. After launching on February 5th, the card back took less than 24 hours to spread to nearly every person in Hearthstone. They said in the first 24 hours, the most corrupt cities in order were Los Angeles, Toronto, Chicago, Montreal, Houston, Seattle, Dallas, San Francisco, Atlanta, and New York.
Wow.
North American player with the most victims gave the card back to 63 other people.
Well played, sir.
In the EU, that person gave it to 58 people.
Wow. That's a lot, because I know I personally gave it on purpose to about 15 people, and then I did give it to quite a few people on the ladder. So I was probably close to 20. That's a big number.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, Blizzard said after the patch, they had given it out to certain people to start. Well, apparently that number was 200 players globally.
Wow.
And it spread to almost 87% of the player base within 24 hours. That is crazy.
200 is significantly lower than I thought it would be. I do have kind of a tinfoil hat kind of theory about this card back. They have talked about in the past, a lot of players have said, we would love to have some of the card backs we couldn't get before, for one reason or another, whether it's promotion or a season we weren't in or stuff like that. And they've talked about possibly finding ways to disseminate, cosmetics like that, card backs or promo cards or portraits. And I'm wondering if this wasn't kind of a test run for that. Maybe they come out with a new, holiday season card back, but then people want the old one, so they kind of funnel it out the same way. And usually Blizzard doesn't just do something like this for no reason, just to use it once and then let it go away. I think they plan to use this in the future.
I was actually surprised how wide this thing spread, because last week we got bored and I fired up one of my Smurf accounts was currently at rank 47. I played one game and I got the card back. It's made its way all the way down to the very bottom of the ladder, which is amazing. So literally I have 3 card backs on that server: the Samsung one, the basic one, and now that one. So it's very surprising and very cool how wide this thing is spread. I think it's one of the coolest things they have ever done.
I agree. I absolutely love this.
Did you get this card back, Venga?
No.
You didn't?
I don't think so. No, I don't know. I forgive me. I don't even look at the card backs.
you might have gotten it and don't even know it.
You may have it. Yeah. If
I'll check.
You play a lot on the ladder, chances are you got it.
We'll check it out.
So, all right. So next up, they also did a Reddit AMA this week. Matt at Arms, why don't you tell us about that AMA?
So the AMA went exactly as you said last week.
Can I chime in and ask a question?
Sure.
It's going to sound really dumb, and it is, because I did not know this until about 2 weeks ago. What does AMA stand for?
Ask me anything.
Yep.
I did not know that until about 2 weeks ago.
The problem is it wasn't really ask me anything. They said don't. Well, they could ask anything, but it's up to them if they want to answer it.
It's Blizzard, so you can ask them whatever you want to ask them, but they're only going to answer 0.5% of the questions asked.
It's true, and that statement was very, very true. There were a few nuggets that popped out of this. One, we are getting a promo card about a week before the expansion drops. Much like Marin the Fox, if you remember him. Much like the Volcanosaur, which was my favorite meta ever, the day of the Volcanosaur, which was back when before Ungoro dropped. That was a lot of fun. They gave us a hint of the keyword using words like twin, spell. Hold on, the page is loading again all of a sudden. Hold on. Hint for the keyword: 2 twins, double down, and spell.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some sort of spell doubling effect possibly coming. We'll see. It's who knows. Let's see here. What else do we get? We got hints of a new hero that's going to pop in this week. It was sort of a lightning. It was some people said would be shocked, quote unquote, by who the hero is. So we're thinking some sort of lightning elemental hero, possibly. Maybe.
And I think I read somewhere that it was going to be for mage.
Okay.
I remember where I read that at.
Because mage needs more heroes.
True. It might have been a meme. I don't know.
Let's see here. And the biggest thing, no new game modes are expected to come out this year. This wasn't that big of a surprise. I really like a cube mode or something like that, but the fact that more I thought of splitting up the ladder into a third way is not an option yet. I think Wild is kind of where it's at right now, and if they don't support Wild, why would they support a third format? So. Yeah,
and this doesn't really bother me too much, because while they say no new game modes being expected, they have confirmed they are making some major changes to Arena to have specific sets every, I think they said 2 months, as well as the solo content. While it will cost currency, whether in-game or real money currency, it is a lot more robust than before. We'll have some card pack rewards. So it's not like those developers are not doing anything. They're busy with this new stuff for this next set and sets to come this year. So because I'm sure this new type of solo content is going to carry over for the next 2 sets this year. So I would love to see a new type of game mode, whether it be a new type of arena or a new type of constructed, or a branch off of a more permanent type Tavern Brawl or Brawliseum. But to be honest, I've been really hard on Blizzard lately, with especially with the layoffs of the community members. I'm a little more invigorated in Team 5 and Hearthstone's ability to create content that I want. So hopefully I think we're going to have a really good set coming out, and I am optimistic.
Venga, anything you want to add?
Yeah, remember the dungeon runs and the Rusticon Rumble and all those things, like those things. Why do people play those? I don't understand.
I do. I love them.
Same here.
It's actually probably I don't grind ladder because I don't have the time to put into grinding to try to get to legend, and so I actually spend a lot of my time in the solo content.
I was like, I'm so bad. Sorry, guys. I just like
no. It makes sense, and I get it from a competitive standpoint. But let me give you my competitive spin on it. The recent solo content, Rosticon's Rumble especially, I really was not excited for, because I got in, I completed it, I got my reward, and I felt done. And I was really let down by Rosticon's Rumble. The puzzles and Boomsday was neat, but I didn't feel like there was a heightened reward to complete things. And then before that, it was a little better, but the last time I was really happy with solo content was Knights of the Frozen Throne, where I had to beat Knights of the Frozen Throne with all 9 classes to then get the big reward, which was the Arthas portrait. And I can wear that Arthas portrait and show people, hey, I stepped up and did the highest difficulty. Before then, they had what they called heroic modes, and you have card backs for those specific heroic modes. Now, there is going to be heroic content again, and that, as somebody who's competitive and likes to try things on hard mode, that makes me want to play it. It's not so much just having the solo content, because I'm a ladder grinder and I want to get legend every month and I want to compete in tournaments. I also, when I do the solo content, I want to be challenged. So I want to do something that's challenging, and I usually want a reward that tells people, hey, I'm better than you. I completed this on heroic.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you the reason, though, seriously, why I don't play those. Gobbles, right? Gobbles, the hero, Gobbles in one of those the things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right? Gobbles beat me back to back, and I quit. That's it. It's because of Gobbles.
That's fair.
All right. I actually had to concede to Gobbles. I couldn't let on the second game. I got whacked by Gobbles. Okay, so that's my reason why I don't play those games. Plus, it's a computer, and if I beat them, they don't feel pain. I want my opponents to feel pain when they lose. Computers don't feel pain. Gobbles didn't feel pain when I beat him the third game. It just went to the next one. No, it doesn't matter. Didn't care. No one cared. Gobble didn't feel pain. I felt pain when Gobbles beat me back to back, everybody. But Gobbles did not feel pain when I beat them that game. And that is why I don't play them anymore.
Next emoji, Venga Gobbles.
just a turkey wearing the Venga hat.
See, I love Dungeon Run out of Kill Balls and Catacombs. I think that was probably the best thing they've done. I hated the fact they did it 2 more times.
Yeah.
Literally they just copied it and
so my thing, I love deck building. I love the deck building feel. I like starting with 10 cards and then adding to my deck as I play, because you never know what you're going to get, and the game is different every single time you play it. And I love that about it. There's so much replayability to that.
And this new solo content is supposedly going to have all aspects of the past solo contents all throughout it. Like, it's going to be a mix and match, which I'm really excited to see how they implement that. Now, I can't really blame them for the dungeon run, the roguelikes, because that was the community, in my opinion. When they came out with that, the community, a lot of, your top end podcasts were like, if this isn't what we get for the next solo content, I'm going to be upset because this is my favorite. So they did it a little different. And then people were like, we like it, but it's not quite the same. And then they did it again, and people were like, we're bored of it. Well, the reason they're doing it 3 times is because you've been telling them you loved it so much. So maybe if you don't want it anymore, tell them,
Well,
So
Pizza 3 nights out of 4 is always awful, though. Just put it that way.
That's true. That's true.
Like the last night you have pizza, you're going to be sick of goddamn pizza.
Have you ever eaten with me? I will eat anything repeatedly. That every time I go to a restaurant, I go, I ought to try, and I always end up ordering the exact same thing. So I don't agree with that logic. Just ask Avantes, because if I was at his house 7 nights in a row, we would do Little Caesars with Jolt Cola.
It's true. All right.
When I go to the local shop over here, and I walk around and I'm like going around, and I see the employees looking at me like, he ain't buying anything different. What's he doing? And I go, same stuff, food.
Yeah.
He ain't buying anything different.
Yeah.
That's why you order off the chalkboard. It's always different.
So this week was also the 5th anniversary of Hearthstone. And while we're not getting anything in-game to commemorate this milestone, they did release a 5 years of Hearthstone video, which was absolutely fantastic, featuring the voice actor of Hearthstone Brew himself.
Yeah, that was a really good video. I don't know if I totally buy this. We're not getting anything for the 5th year. We're seeing a lot of the number 5.
Joe Mag on Twitter has confirmed there is nothing planned for the 5th anniversary.
I get there's nothing specifically planned for the 5th anniversary, but we have 5 wings in this new set with 5 different villains. I think they're at least embracing the theme of 5 years in the sets this year. Now, whether it's something like specific, like a special card back or something, I don't think we're going to get that. But because they're focusing so much on this first set of the Year of the Dragon, I can forgive that.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the video, definitely go check it out. There will be a link to it in our show notes on our website when this podcast goes live on our show, or when it goes onto our website tomorrow. So you can check it out there. This week's Tavern Brawl is By the Power of Ragnaros. So if you guys aren't familiar, that is the famous line by Emperor Thoresen when he comes into play. By the power of Ragnaros. Fight for the amusement of the Emperor. All cards in your hand have their cost reduced by 1 at the end of your turn, which is the ability of Emperor Thoresen. So, this is a fun brawl. It is a build-your-own-deck brawl, so, make sure you have something in mind lined up, and just remember, every turn, the cards in your hand get cheaper, so it's a lot of fun. So, all right, that brings us to this week's deck analysis, which I just realized I do not have preloaded. We were chatting so much prior to the show, I did not have time to get the deck list added.
So I got you an Imager link for nothing. Well, while you're doing that, I will let you know that I did play this Tavern Brawl. I did one and done it, but I played OTK Paladin. And when your Blackwall Pixies and your spells and your Auction Master Beardo are all 0 mana, it's really easy to summon all 4 horsemen.
Yeah, I haven't played this one yet. I plan on going in with Star Aligner Druid, just because I have a desire to align some stars onto some people's faces.
Yeah, because you just have to have lots of armor gain and just stall until you can just
get AV on
all your
Coon.
7s.
Yeah, drop.
You don't
AV
even
on
need that.
Well,
just get the 7 health guys, low enough.
I just need Aviana Coon. I just need Aviana to be a 9 mana, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so let's talk about this deck that VengaDragon was so nice to bring along. This is Odd Warrior by VengaDragon. So I'm going to read over the deck list real quick, and then I'll let Venga talk about the deck and how it plays and matchups and things like that. So this deck list is 2 Eternium Rovers, 2 Omega Assembly, 2 Shield Slam, 2 Reckless Flurry, 2 Shield Block, 2 Smolder Thorn Lancer, 2 Stonehill Defender, 2 Brawl, 2 Dragon Moss Scorchers, 2 Dinomatics, 2 Emberscale Drakes, 2 Super Colliders, everybody's favorite mech Ziliax, 2 Crowd Roasters, Dr. Boom, the Mad Genius, Baku the Moon Eater for that good old odd ability, and Ysera. So, Venga, tell us about it.
All right. Well, yeah, this is this deck is just very very odd. It's got so much clear in it. I mean, there's so much like you could just with the deck. It's like you kind of know when you're going to get it over, and if you're not, and it plays very well against the hunter. When I went into looking at the statistics and everything, I saw that hunter was 23% of the players in the EU. Were playing hunter, and then 20% were playing priest, and then there was another, I think, 17% playing mage. Right. So whenever I select a deck that I'm going to try and ladder with and stuff, I always look to see what the majority of the classes that I'm going to be playing against, and see if I have something that'll work pretty well against them. And obviously, hunter is everybody's nightmare right now. But what's great about this deck is that it is a very good matchup against the hunter, any one of them, except for Death Rattle Hunter. I don't think I've ever beaten a Death Rattle Hunter with it. And it's kind of easy to play. And again, we talk about I like to appeal to a beginner Hearthstone player. I have this thing I have a guy that will contact me and stuff, and he might send me a DM or a whisper or whatever, or even on stream they might say, what is this deck? Is it a for example, the Death Rattle Hunter is a 1-2-3-6, we call it, right? So it's and that's talking about what you're more likely to keep on your mulligan stage, right? So this deck, I call it a clear 135, right? And 135 is a highway that was in New York, and you could go really fast down that. It was long and straight, so you could just cruise the car, and it was always clear, no cars on it. So it's a clear 135, and it's just from memory. And the 135 cars are Eternium. Then you also have Stonehill, Flurry, Dino, and Shield Slam are the cards that you're thinking about picking, depending on they should always be in your starting mulligan cards. And when I say clear 135, the reason why I use that analogy is just for remembering. And this is how you can you do these things where you want to remember how to mulligan, so you don't have to look at statistics while you're playing. You just kind of get an idea. The clear 135 is the cards that you want to get against a hunter. Is you need to get the clear cards. The Dinomatic is a card that plays very well. It's great when they drop a 5 mana minion or something, or 4 mana, and then you drop on an open board and it clears it. Now you're the only one with a minion. Of course, Flurry is excellent, which is what is it called again? It's Wild Flurry. What is it again?
Reckless Flurry.
Reckless Flurry, yeah. Reckless Flurry, and then Dynamatic is good there. And of course, then you have Shield Slam, which it depends if you're playing against like a Warlock or something, then you might want to you keep a Shield Slam to destroy their giants, you know. And the thing is like especially even when you're playing against an even Warlock, you just got to expend those 1 mana ones as quickly as possible and save it, because chances are they're running Skulking Geist. So it's interesting. The matchups for the deck, I mean, this is just off the top of my head. The only ones that it suffers against is Druid and Warrior, I believe, where you're really, really outmatched. For some reason, I always feel like I don't do well against Warrior, even in the mirror match for some reason. I have no idea. And then Druid is a lot of the Druids that are playing when someone does play Druid, which is rare. It's like I think 8 or 11% of players are playing Druid. It's usually the Mill Druid, and more likely it was the Mechathune Druid, which it just doesn't beat. The only thing that's fun about playing against a Druid is that if you can somehow manage to realize that it's that card, you can you get just trapped their last minion on the board, and if that last minion happens to be like a Pyromancer or even an Acolyte of Pain or the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, you could just sit there and don't play your Dr. Boom card. You just keep the 4 mana health, and you just sit there. They tap you in the face, and then you restore, and you just keep on restoring. So you just sit there, and sometimes hopefully, I hope that we don't get a game against the Druid tonight. But if we do, we'll just try to play it so that we hang out and just wait for that one last lone Gadgetzan Auctioneer on the thing, and just sit back and relax and just watch them keep hitting you in the face and then hero power and then do it. So it'll be good for the show, right? Because we'll just be able to use the hero power eternally. So we can plug it every time. But so like with that, that's like pretty much Druid. But like your other classes, and Wall Priest is usually what you're seeing, or either clone or Wall Priest. Against the Control Priest, I think you're pretty good in this deck playing against Control Priest. It works well. You can muster up so much armor that even when they'll sit there and wait for the right time to drop down Alexstrasza, and you know when it's coming that they're going to drop it down, because they're trying to get it onto an open board, and just so you can kind of play around it rather easy. So Control Priest is a good matchup. Wall Priest can be difficult, but if you keep Dr. Boom early and you get him and you just play it, then everybody has Rush, so you can keep on flooding the board and keeping the health down low on those, and hopefully you can sneak through and maybe you get something that you can attack through. But Priest is probably is out of the good matchups, is still probably the worst of the good, if that makes sense. It's like it's the hardest. It's still favored, I believe, against Priest, but I think it's the hardest one to play. It's the most frustrating. I mean, everybody knows what it feels like to be beaten by 64 damage to the face after you've right? So that's what you end up doing, and you see it coming. That you're just waiting, and you're doing. If you manage to somehow sneak a taunt in there and they've already used their silence for some reason, which a lot of players don't make that mistake, but they'll play the 4 mana card that silences everybody, and then early, and you're like, so either they have another one or they don't, and if they don't, that's like your best chance. You could put them in.
This is the deck I actually piloted the Legend last month, and this was my hardest matchup to figure out was the Wall Priest. And Wall Priest, once you kind of do the math and realize they only have a certain number of threats with their resurrections and whatnot, you can actually win that just through attrition once you can eliminate all of the resurrections and all of their big minions, because none of their minions have charge, they have to stick that minion on a board for the full turn. So if you just make sure they don't get to stick that, and a lot of people thought, well, you just armor, which is what you do against combo. You get up to like 85 armor plus, and then you're set. But you can't do that against wall. You basically need to get as much armor as you can, and then you Dr. Boom. And having that rush minion to counteract those minions that they're going to summon through the resurrection effects really, really can turn the tide. And that's what made me be able to bring Warrior back and get Legend last month, is figuring out that Wall Priest matchup.
Yeah, I play a version of this, a very similar version of this, but my version is a little more tech towards the Wall Priest and towards the Spellstone Priest in general. I really like to run things like what's that? The Drake that gives them a 2/1. I like Leroy a lot in this deck. I like Tinkmaster Overspark a lot in this deck, just to muck up their res pool against priests so that they don't get a chance to bring back some of their big fat butts, or bring back Valen or Malagos and ruin my day.
Yeah, that's like Stonehill is good for that too. It's like you could pull the 2 mana. It's 2 mana 2/6.
Yeah, Cornered Sentry.
Cornered Sentry. The 1 mana 2/3 that gives him a 0/3 is really good too in this.
Yeah. So it's like totally. I mean, I think if I would probably. It's hard to remove any cards from this deck because there's just the other cards that you have there have such purpose. Yeah. So it is hard to remove, it's just hard to remove anything else. It's just because of the odd even archetype. There's just not much that you can substitute in that is really totally better. I do agree with you that it's cool to tech it though for Wall Priest because it is such a frustrating matchup. But in the sense of I think that when the Stonehill Defender comes, you just really got to try to get that thing to muck up their plan. Yeah. And that that makes sense.
So let's. I'm ready to see this deck get played. So before we do that, though, Venga, why don't you tell everybody listening at home and watching where they can find you if they want to see more VengaDragon?
Well, it's very simple. Anywhere there's social media that's popular, like Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch, it's just /VengaDragon. I got Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all just /VengaDragon. So you can come by. And really where we focus a lot of effort is to twitch.tv/VengaDragon. And I like to be really active on Twitter as well because I get that quick satisfaction to tell people thank you and stuff and interact and be a part of the community. I think that Twitter and Twitch in combination together is really openly a great combination. So you get to interact. That's where I'm at. And I'm also this super huge fan of the Hero Power Show and is nothing more in my life that I would ever do except be the super fanboy of this fine show that you guys put on here. And now I'm going to play a deck that the reason why I selected this deck, I'll tell you why, is because Zeroshio told me that he was a Paladin expert. So I said, I'm not going to play Paladin. Added arms.
Don't worry, he tells everyone that.
I didn't play any other class because I heard you were an expert at every other class except Warrior.
Yeah. I like to consider myself a Nemsy main, but yeah.
And Warrior
not just Warlock, but Nemsy.
And Avante, he just didn't care. He was just like, listen,
yeah,
I'm gonna,
He's not an expert at anything, so it's okay.
For the show, he just said, listen, as long as you make fun of Zeroshio and Man at Arms, we cool.
There you go.
Don't get on me.
All right. So that's going to do it for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, or if you'd just like to join our patron-only Discord, you could do so for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power. Venga!
Nice.
Alrighty. Well, I have the EU client loaded up on purpose this time. I have done it in the past, not meaning to, going, why can't I spectate anybody?
Well, I'm just glad you got through the Innkeeper's Quest.
So, fun fact, if you don't know, if you've not logged into Hearthstone in over 6 months or so, the next time you log in, you have to play 3 AI bots for 3 packs.
Nice.
So, Venga, whenever you are ready, we will spectate, and you guys can just kind of walk through the plays, and we'll watch you pilot this deck.
All right. Well, just make sure it's all set, and I'm just waiting for you to spectate.
Okay.
Good to go. Here we go. Currently at a little drop down. VengaDragon coming into the mix with the Hero Power Cast. Watching my play. This is the most nerve-wracking moment of my entire life. Really super worried about.
Says the pro poker player. Somehow I don't believe him. Look at that poker face.
Everybody, we picked up a spectator. We're not used to playing in front of anybody, by the way. So we just, especially as such an esteemed crew.
All right, so we're playing against a paladin here. What are we looking for in our mulligans?
We're looking for Reckless Fury. We are thinking about Shield Block because we're going to use Reckless Fury and possibly before the turn 5, right? Because we believe that we're going to probably be up against odd Paladin. So I'm just going to keep those two on the clear 135 tip. The key here is to get rid of Reckless Flurry and then armor up and then use Shield Block to get some more cards. That's what and armor. So that's the mulligan. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Good to me. Sounds right.
Let's do it. Mr. Mix 30. I think we just drew pretty well there.
Yeah, that Eternium Rover's great on turn 1 against odd Paladin.
Oh, this is even Paladin, but yeah.
Oh, it's good against even Paladin too. It's really good against any Paladin.
Except
for maybe OTK.
It's got to concede real quickly. I just don't feel it's a good drop. You know what I mean? We'll just quit the game right here, okay? So
no. Oh, he's got jokes.
I turned down the volume because I couldn't hear you guys.
Okay, so we got the Eternium Rover out to challenge his. Oh well, he's got a coin.
Oh, he's got the all. Nice.
Actually, I like that play by him.
I do. I like it. Well, I don't like it, but I like the play.
Yeah. That's kind of a heads-up play in this matchup. So that tells you right away he kind of knows this matchup.
Yep.
Well, this is good because that's giving us more tools for the Reckless Flurry.
Yep.
That's going to be good.
I'm thinking you just bump in here and flurry. Maybe.
I actually like bumping in, taking the Divine Shield off, and then just armor up.
All right.
What do you think, Venga? You're the one driving, so you got the full say. What would you do here?
I think that it's. I think we just do exactly that. What I would do is I would just tap him, and then I would just armor up, take the damage to the face, and then armor up again. Let's see what happens. I mean, we don't. We still have Dynamatic for a clear on 5. We can afford some armor. We got shield block. I mean, we could even just tap shield block here and get a card too. But I don't think there's really anything that can help us immediately. So I'm just gonna go with this and this. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be all the way up to 12 armor. 7 damage is kind of. We may even be able to Reckless Flurry without having to tap. So
exactly.
I just want to be clear. I just kind of want the board clear for his 4-mana turn, just because of Blessing of Kings. So yeah.
And see, I want him to invest a Blessing of Kings in. Oh wow, the Brawl is even better here.
That's really good.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is when you're sitting there and like this is one of the things that like really like drives me mad is now all of a sudden the greed factor comes in, right?
Yes.
We sit there and we're like, how can we get him to overextend and and then take out another card? Ooh, you know what I mean? Like with the Brawl, right? I mean, so you just clear here and don't take the damage.
Yeah, you reckless here and then hero power or whatever.
Yeah, well, you can't hero power if you reckless.
That's
but,
true.
I like the reckless here. If we hadn't drawn the Brawl, I might consider not recklessing because I'm being greedy. But because we have the Brawl, we're expecting him to dump his hand now, going, well, he used that. Oh, and wow, Brawl is great.
Ooh, that's a good Dynamatic.
Yeah, right now. I mean, this is exactly what we talked about during the first part of the show. It's just 1 minion versus 1 minion. This card is just ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, and when you have Dr. Boom in play, you can actually take out an 8/8 minion all by itself.
Yep. Glass Knight, huh?
Nice.
Like that tech.
I mean, I'm looking at here. I'm just thinking on my feet here, just real quick, is just boom. We get rid of this. We get rid of this with using the Dragon Ball Scorcher.
Yeah. So that, to me, the obvious line is the Super Collider, but the line I like is just what you said, using the Dragon Maul. I like that Dragon Ball line. I mean, it takes away our activator for the Crowd Roaster, but we're not going to need the Crowd Roaster for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is we have other dragons in the deck that'll do it. I mean, this gives us this right away. We have board control. We got a 3/6 minion up on the board, which is nice and sticky.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, we got to just consult with our resident paladin hero Sorosio.
No, I like that. I would Dragon Ball and then run in. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
And we end the turn and we say, Venga.
I'm a firm believer of always looking for alternate lines, even if they're not better.
Yeah, you're going to see, like, in a sense of when I play, you're going to definitely see some things that are not necessarily lines that anybody plays because I don't know what other people's lines are that they play. I only make my own. I guess
that's good. That's good.
I'm like I don't like try not to study like other people's way. I try to develop my own style. And what we talked about, like not trying to get.
What do you think here, though?
What's that?
What do you think here?
I like it. I just like a quick Stonehill Defender, armor up, because we dropped the smoldering. We can see what we get as far as a taunt.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We get garbage.
Dread Corsel's your probably best bet there.
Yeah, Corsair. Yeah. I mean, Silverback challenges dudes, but yeah, Corsair.
Yeah.
I would honestly armor up and just go face.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
So what would you have thought about shield blocking there instead of hero powering?
I want to use shield block when in a different for when I need to armor up completely. Like right here, we still, you know what I mean, how do we use? We would have gotten the card, but we still have armor. We still can kind of.
This is a beautiful Super Collider turn.
This is actually like there are certain times, man, when the game just plays itself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right, and you just.
And anytime, in my opinion, you're choosing between the hero power or the shield block in a way that you don't utilize the shield block for needing the draw or needing that one extra armor specifically, I would always go with the hero power because it's more optimal mana wise.
Sounds good to me. I mean, it's that sounds
So
great.
Just hero power here?
Yeah, I like hero power. I like just dropping hero power here, just hitting the button, passing here. That's where I'd go.
Hero power it is.
Yeah, and just the Corsair that he's just gonna take it out with the weapon.
Yeah, if you waste a swing of that Corsair on your face,
great.
That's great for us.
That tells me he has a Valenier.
Valenier or Tyrion or that's
or
one
Tyrion.
too.
Yeah, that's one too.
Oh, that's just ridiculous. It's Dynamatic into the smoldering.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
Right. I mean,
God, that card's gross.
It's such a ridiculous card. And you can also beautifully combo it with our
Ziliax.
Ziliax, yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get greedy.
See, I'm a greedy player.
Do that. That card. No, I knew you would do that.
So this is why I like Tinkmaster.
Why are you that way? This guy doesn't want me to crowd roast.
Well, there you go.
We're gonna crowd roaster that entire thing. We're gonna kill it. We're gonna take it out with a smolder with our.
Well, hold on. What if we hit it with our Super Collider? That will put it at 7, so we can crowd roaster it and then clear the 2/6 with our 2 minions in play.
I like that. It's
and that
creative.
gives us enough mana to and that's kind of that awkward line.
And you can protect the crowd roaster with the Dread Corsair.
Yep.
So
yeah, we could do that.
So tap the minion.
With your face, yeah.
His health goes down to 7. And we actually, wow, that's a sick play, dude. Right?
That's what I see. You see a different line?
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I like your thinking. He's smart.
Then double trade and slam down the Dread Corsair.
There we go. We got him.
Got it.
That's how. That was a sick line. That's what we talk about. You see what I mean? Well, everybody. See, I need you guys hanging out with me while I'm streaming. I don't. I would have just slammed that guy down. We would have had it then. No, that was sick. That's a great play, brother. And that's one of the things I think that every player should do. I was reading a thread on Hearthstone and Hone, and it says the game should be shorter. It should take less time. It's like you're obviously not playing at the higher level. It does take time to think. You know what I mean? You have to think a little bit. And that was a thinking man's play. I like that. Now this is one of the things is I've been struggling with this and with Ysera, right? I can never find a good time to drop that card, but I feel like right now is a good time to drop the card.
Well, I like using her as an activator.
Yeah.
For dragons?
Yeah.
I'm worried about if you drop her Sarah right now. I'm worried you're going to play into Repentance. She's going to have 1 health, and that's not going to be that great. I think you kind of test. I would actually test for Repentance with the Stonehill.
Yeah,
I like that. Stonehill first.
Yeah, and we could do that. We could do the Stonehill. One of the things is though that Ysera, when you're lucky like me, always pulls an activator. You get the 7/6 dragon.
Yes, dragon.
But I like this play. I have a feeling that
Firehorn every time.
Hatchling, yes, always hatchling.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta hurry up here.
Yeah.
Drop the hatchling and go.
Just
face
go
it.
through it. Yeah.
Go face?
Yep.
Yeah, go face.
There you go.
Right menu to go face with, too.
Yeah, that was perfect.
You got it.
Good line.
You got it.
Nice.
Good news up. All right. So it wasn't what we thought.
Well, that's the noble sacrifice is a good one.
And I missed the hero power, by the way, guys.
It's all right.
And see, because we kept that's fine. Because we kept the Ysera, we have the crowd roaster as activated for the 4/7.
Yep. But we also pulled Ember Scale Drake.
Yeah,
but
we did get that.
we didn't know. We didn't
Should
know.
we use the last charge of Super Collider first?
No, I'd use the crowd roaster to pop the 2/6 and then swing in with the Super Collider.
Okay.
No, because it won't kill the 4/3.
Well, we can trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Won't kill either, actually.
Yeah,
But
I
I
actually
think-
like hitting the 4/7 first with our
Okay.
face.
All right.
Yeah, we keep the board. We keep the board that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Swing in first, and then run in with the 3/2 to finish it off or whatever, and then crowd roaster the 2/6
Yeah,
and
it goes
swing
3
face with the 3/6. That
3/6.
keeps it fully healthy.
and don't forget to use your hero power.
That's right.
Hero power _cast Venga. If you're not doing it already, everybody, you know what they say when you're on Twitch, you should never say follow. But in this instance, if you're not following Hero Power on Twitter, it's Hero Power _cast. You ain't following the right people. And also, you should follow this channel too, which these guys do their weekly shows. There's two. They got the show that's called Hero Power, which is on Wednesday nights at 7:30, and then there's another one on Monday nights, I believe. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think we don't do a Monday. We just do Wednesdays.
Wednesday and a Thursday Eternal show.
Yeah,
The Eternal.
we do
Whatever that
Eternal show. So,
All right.
is this a brawl turn? What do you guys think? What
I
do
like
you think?
Brawl a lot here. Brawl and Ember Scale.
Yep, I had my eye on Brawl, so it would be Brawl into Ember Scale Drake.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We have a 40% chance of winning this?
Something like that. Of course, the worst one wins.
Yeah.
It's
But that's
fine.
still
We had
fine.
a 40% chance of getting the right card, but a 100% chance of causing maximum frustration and pain to our
That is
opponent.
true.
100%. He clears everybody.
That's a good consecration to get out of the hat.
I don't like this clear by him. I would
I
have
don't
gone face
either.
if gone face if I was him.
I agree.
Especially with I'd just drop you Sarah and say go.
You think
I don't
this
hate
is-
that.
Time
It's
is right for you, Sarah?
Yeah, it's like I'm going to outvalue you for the rest of the game at this
Yeah,
point.
we drew
So
the
do a
Scorcher.
turning Rover and Sarah at the same time.
Yeah, we can
Nah.
put on there. I like the Rover.
I'd hold on to Rover until Ziliax, personally.
Well, that does make sense to save it for Ziliax. What do you think, Venga?
I think that's a good call. I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it more in
I didn't
terms
either.
of going for playing the entire 10 mana, but that play makes sense.
Yeah, you're a control warrior. You don't need to spend all your mana and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, and we drew the Scorcher for our last two Dragon activators, which is good.
Oh, there's one
and
there.
And what'd you say, Venga? You always get the dragon.
I told you to get the Emerald Drake every time, man. Come on. Oh,
That's fine. I'd
fine.
rather him use the silence on that than something else.
That's fine.
Reckless. No, I'd love to see a Smoldering Lancer. Smolderthorn Lancer here.
That'd be sick.
Ooh.
Collider's good. Collider's not good.
No, Collider wins.
Actually, nope. Dragon Ball Scorcher, Collider in trade.
I go Collider into the silence,
No, I think
Into-
you.
Yeah.
No.
and then tap this with
Scorcher.
Sarah.
You definitely Scorcher first.
Well, yeah. I would Scorcher first and then Collider into the 4/3, and then finish it off with Ysera. Is that what you were thinking, Matt?
I'm thinking saving a bit of Ysera's health and doing this up and going face with hitting our face with 7.
Okay, I'm cool with that too. We'll get the armor back.
Yeah. Well, it's 6-1.5 dozen the other quite honestly, actually.
So you're saying leave the 7/7 up on the board?
Well, Scorcher first.
Okay.
Yeah, you Super Collider to the 4/3.
And then Super Collider hit the 7/7.
No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Just go go to the 4/2. It's the same thing.
Okay, hit the 4/2. Yeah, because you're not safe. Yeah, because you'll have to hit Ysera with. Then
now
go ahead,
hit
it with Ysera. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I was
Yeah.
I thought when I heard the word "go face," but I like that play right there.
I meant our face. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. He was thinking we would hit the 7/7, but honestly, that's just taking unnecessary damage.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would just
hero power Pat and go and Morg.
We could shield block now to try to draw into Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
Because this is where we want Dr. Boom.
Right. So now we would go. Do you want to clear the minion though?
I think we need to for the threat of the last Kings.
Yeah.
So clear it with the 3/6.
I think clear with your face. I don't care about this Super Collider.
I do.
Okay.
Because if he can hero power and throw another minion out, it's not so much, worried about having the Super Collider for something. We're making him only play one minion at a time. He can't play two. No matter how unthreatening they are.
He's right. That's a good way of thinking it. This right here, this is funny. This is. I think that the secret they play is the one that gives it
Nice.
Divine Shield.
Yeah.
Autoimmune. I have that weird feeling that it's autoimmune. I don't know why, but
Yeah,
defense.
Auto defense, yeah. Close.
Auto defense, yeah. But it doesn't make sense really to play that there, but I just have a feeling that it's auto defense because of the amount of time it took them to play it.
We can test that by sending a 3/5 to face.
But I don't know if they get autoimmune off of this deal here, though. Do they?
Well, going to
can.
face, going to face test for Noble Sack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go face right now with that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not Noble Sack.
And then I would Omega Assembly.
Yeah, you got to do this quick.
Beryllium.
Our face into the 2/2, and then send the rest to face.
This into the 2/2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then go to face. I just hero power and throw down the Steel Rager. Just toss it. No, not that one. Steel Rager.
Yeah.
It's a 5/1.
That's testing. Okay, it's Hidden Wisdom. That was the test for the Repentance or Redemption, whichever one.
Okay, so it's Hidden Wisdom?
It's Hidden Wisdom.
All right. It's fine.
He's done. This is the throw.
Well, we got a 7/4. There's a Ziliax.
Oh wow!
I dropped that Beryllium.
Yeah, drop the Beryllium first. Yeah.
Well, should I drop the rover into magnetic into this?
Oh yeah, that's 8 mana. Yeah, you could do that, and then we could Ziliax after.
Right.
Yeah, Ziliax next turn.
Ziliax next turn, yeah, and then hero power, and we're pretty much gonna win next turn.
This is a good match, guys. You know why? Because we're winning. It's a good match. It's always a good match when you win.
Tyrion. Nope.
Tyrion.
That's fine.
That's fine. We win.
Do you want to do it style? Do you want to do it stylistically, or how do you want to do it?
Any way you want to do it.
I like this.
Just make sure you hero power first, because it won't kill it if you don't. There you go.
Max Payne. Venga.
Maximum dragon damage.
That's cool.
Did I hear?
Terry.
I heard Venga.
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 All right, guys. Unfortunately, we've run a little long tonight, and I think that's going to have to be it. I think I have a bit of an emergency I need to go take care of.
That was an awesome game.
That was a fantastic game, and it highlights how much fun that deck really is.
Yeah. Well, the highlight was Maximum Pain at the end. We were able to tap him with 4 and then hit him for 7 for -6 health.
Yeah.
I was feeling like we might not have gotten there. We could have actually got an extra point of damage by doing 2 shield slams, and but it's all good. I guess you said it was time to go. I'll just chime in and just say, listen, I didn't want to forget. This is the most important thing I wanted to say. I'm so thankful for you guys inviting me onto this show, and
It's our pleasure.
And it really means a lot to me, all the love and support that I've seen from the community in such a short time. And I'm in this for the long haul, and I want to do the right thing for you guys, which is win, improve my game, keep the moves high and the level up, because we got to just keep it going. When something bad happens, remember that better days are coming, folks. You know what I mean? So without further ado, I just want to say one more time for your mind, when I get like this and I get in this mode, Venga! Let's do this.
Absolutely. One more time then. Why don't you tell everybody at home or watching on YouTube where they can find you?
Crawl out from under that rock, and then you just go and you put / VengaDragon on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. When I said by crawling out from under the rock, that means if you've been hiding under a rock, you don't know that I'm VengaDragon, and I'm going to be found anywhere that there's a / and VengaDragon follows. So we will see you online. And if there's anything that I could do for anybody to help you guys out and give you positivity, or helps with your stream, or just advice, or if you need somebody to talk to, you know where to find me. I'm right here. Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you, and we hope your stream continues to do as well as it has been doing, and continues to get better into the future. And we hope to see you climbing that eSports stage one day, sir.
I appreciate it. And it was nice meeting you guys too. I'm really happy to have met you guys, and sounds to me like I made some new friends tonight. So appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. All right. With that said, if you guys listening at home or watching at home have any questions or comments about the show, or any questions or comments about this deck, send them on over to heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. And if you have questions about the deck, we'll send those on to Venga on your behalf, and we'll let you know what he says. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button below on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. For more details about our Patreon, check out patreon.com/heropower. Till next week, good gaming. Venga!
Venga!